Hey there, howdy folks, it's Doug again. I apologize for the darkness. I just woke up. Um, I had this really, what I would consider really epic dream, and I wanted to record it and save it for posterity. So here goes. It's a very, when I was in the dream, we were in a Nazi internment camp. We were in this huge Nazi complex, this experimental complex. Uh, we were always trying to escape. My friend and I, we would always try to escape from this place. And we were like the only ones that were escaping from this place. And we would get caught. And when we would get caught, we had to start over in the same spot. And I would remember trying to do this before, and I would make different choices. Like, oh, we went over here last time and that didn't work out, so I'll go over here this time. And okay, that didn't work out either, but this is another spot. And then if I go here and then I do this, then maybe I can get out. Um, so when I finally did escape, my friend wasn't with me, and we would go back for each other, and I didn't go back for him. Obviously, I was by myself. When I did escape, I just walked out the front doors. And I say it was a Nazi internment camp, this complex, but when I did escape, it was modern day America in this very large city in America. And I was hungry. And I went to Arby's because it was right across the street, and I was hungry. And I realized that even though I was hungry in the dream, I didn't have any money. And all my clothes were rags, and I was in tatters, and I didn't have any money. And I went to the ATM, and I didn't have a card. And there was this family, this like well-to-do family that were in line in front of me, and they kind of ignored me. And I didn't know what to do. I wanted to tell the authorities about what had happened, where this place was, and what they were doing, and how I escaped. And I remember being on a train. I remember trains being a large theme in this dream. Like, I was on an old-timey train. I was on a Nazi train. I fought a Nazi colonel or a Nazi general on this train. And we were constantly on different trains, like moving forward. And I remember knowing that it was a dream. On this train, I was sitting there. We were like hiding. And I remember being like, oh, this is a dream. This is obviously, I'm sleeping right now, and this is in my brain, and we're asleep, and I'm dreaming, so I'm going to try and fly. My test for a lucid dream is to always try to fly. And I realized I was dreaming. I knew I was asleep, and I tried to fly, but I couldn't. Okay, and I'm leaving out huge swaths of this. Like, I realized that you might not be getting the full picture, but it ended up being, we were on like these cars, these train cars on the outside, on the top, and there was this gorilla, really scary gorilla. Like, he was intimidating and foreboding, and I was afraid of him. And although the gorilla wasn't being hostile to me and my friend, we were being hostile to him. And we ended up fighting this gorilla who was like trying to smoke weed, and we ended up cutting his head off. But as we cut his head off, he slapped me, and I woke up. So I'm going to get into this a little bit more. When you are having a lucid dream, what you want to do is ask for the door to the fifth dimension. You ask for the door to the fifth dimension, and what happens is it's what happened in this dream inadvertently, but you start at the point where you go through the door to the fifth dimension, and you relive a section of time, and then eventually you'll stop and start over, and then start, and then stop, and start over, and you make different choices based on what happened to you, and it all leads to one thing. And it's only happened, I've had several dozen lucid dreams, but I've only had a couple, like 2 or 3, where I actually asked for the door to the fifth dimension. And I didn't this time. And what it reminded me of, this dream reminded me of, was Buddhism, and the way that we relive our lives, different sections of our lives, and we go through different lives learning different things because of karma. And what I remember, it also reminded me of was The Matrix. The stream reminded me of The Matrix. That Nazi complex was trapping my mind. And I know I'm leaving out huge parts of this, and I'm trying to cover everything, and I apologize if it's going over. It is. So I'll leave you at that. A little bit of mystery. Other than that, if you are watching, you know, you're the resistance, and I appreciate it. So with that, I do. Bye-bye.